When Israel first discovered natural gas off its Mediterranean coast about a dozen years ago, no major energy company doing business in the Arab world was prepared to explore that fuel-rich area for fear of upsetting their partners in the Gulf. But the Abraham Accords has turned the Mideast, including its energy alliances, upside down. And now it is an Abu Dhabi-based company, Mubdala Petroleum, that has agreed to buy Delek Drilling's 22% share in the Tamar gas field for $1.1 billion. Israeli Energy Minister Yuval Steinitz issued a statement today declaring the gas monopoly has disintegrated and large international companies are coming in and expressing their confidence in our gas economy. Now, after signing the Abraham Accords, a company from an Arab country is also investing in Israel's gas market. I believe this is the beginning of cooperation between the countries in the field of energy and in other economic and political areas for the welfare of the citizens. Well, joining us in the studio for more is Dan Katarivas, Director General of the Foreign Trade and International Relations Division in the Manufacturers Association of Israel. And this must be a happy day for that association, given the trends here. But Dan, let's just look at the amazing thing that, of course, prior to the Abraham Accords, you couldn't even get never mind Arab companies, but even major international energy companies to invest in that East Med, the gas fields. And now it's an Arab company from the Gulf.
Well, I mean, it's quite amazing, the change in such a rapid time. I mean, it's true that Chevron was the first international company that actually came to actually buy Noble Energy. It was a small American company, and actually it opened the door probably also to other, I would say, international company, but nobody imagined that it would come from the Arab world. So actually, I think it's really a major. It's showing how the geostrategic situation of Israel in the region has changed, and we're now part of the region. We're not anymore a country put aside, and there is not anymore any problem with the Arab boycott, like you mentioned that previously. The international company was shy from Israel because they were afraid that it could affect their business in the Arab world. Now it's really a country or a company from the Arab world, by the way, which is owned by the government of Abu Dhabi, which is coming itself to take share in the gas market in Israel. So it's quite extraordinary, and it's opening all new, I would say, avenues for cooperation in the region.
Right. I just want to point out, a lot of people don't realize that Noble Energy was able to invest in Israel because it did not have holdings in the Middle East outside Israel. Was mainly they dealt mainly in the Gulf of Mexico, in Africa, Australia, and they weren't one of the majors. So let's look at some of those. This opens up this whole area. Suddenly, I mean, you can imagine almost Israel being a member of OPEC practically. Well, but right now it is not yet, maybe. Not yet,
and it's not oil. We're talking about gas.
Right, it's not oil. We're talking about natural gas so far. But there are other associations that it is now part of in the region.
Exactly. I mean, you've got now this gas forum that was established in Egypt, about 2 years ago, where Israel is part. It's sitting in a regional organization where you've got Egypt, you've got Jordan, you've got the Palestinian, you've got the Israelis. Now we wanted to actually bring the UAE as actually observer, and there was an objection, not from Israel side, but from the Palestinian side. So, and now we've got the Americans, obviously, which are there. The French are also joining, and we're talking about other countries joining in this gas forum. Again, this is the beginning of regional cooperation, a regional organization where Israel is part of, which was unheard of a few months ago.
Right, and getting back to the gas issue and the significance of this purchase by this Abu Dhabi company in Tamar, there have been a lot of projects that have been floated, mainly pipeline projects, which are hugely expensive. Some people think they're not practical. Bringing a pipeline across even Saudi Arabia from the Gulf to Israel, hooking up with this idea of an East Med pipeline. I mean, it seemed far-fetched at the time, but if a Gulf country has a direct stake in the East Mediterranean, you have to wonder if that may give some impetus to some of these big projects.
I must tell you, I belong to the generation that in 1994, when the Oslo Accord started, then we started with a lot of projects, of regional projects, of connectivity, whether it is in electricity, in gas, etc. Now, we waited many, many years until now things might actually really happen, You are talking about, for instance, an agreement to bring oil to Eilat, and from there use the pipeline from Eilat to Ashkelon.
Which already exists, by the way.
Which already exists, exactly. And that could serve as not an alternative to the Suez Canal, but an addition to transfer of oil from the east to the west.
Right, and we learned the importance recently of having an alternative to the Suez Canal.
That's right. And it's true that also the Europeans are interested in diversifying, because they are very much depending on, let's say, the Russian gas. So they are, and we are talking with the Italian, with the Greeks, of actually this actually pipeline that will connect the Middle East to Europe. Some people say that it's not economical. As you know, there is fluctuation in the price of gas, and also let's not forget, just a few days ago we had the big summit about warming of the planet, and gas is not the solution. Okay, we're talking about renewable energy, so gas is only a temporary solution.
Right, a temporary, but it is a cleaner option than oil,
cleaner,
than
but
coal.
It's not yet the solution. So the question is, are we going to invest a lot of money for a temporary solution? So there are big discussions among countries, among companies, but yes, now Israel is an exporter of gas to Jordan, to Egypt, which definitely is solidifying the peace agreement with them. It's adding a very important strategic economic dimension to the relation that we have with Jordan and with Egypt, and now with the UAE. And eventually Saudi Arabia will come on board. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Israel will become a member of OPEC at some point. But let's look at the impact beyond the energy field, because how much impact does it have just in the sense of encouraging the sense of Israel being a place for investment, not just in energy, but many other factors, if people see that Abu Dhabi is willing to put over $1 billion into this country?
It's certainly a signal for greater stability in the region. You know, business, what they're looking for is certainty, is stability, and the region here, well, I mean, the image of the region, but not always a very positive one, okay, in sense of stability.
Certainly the region, yes.
But now,
that's
now
for sure.
I think that this type of deals are reinforcing the fact that we are in a new era in the Middle East, okay, and things are changing, and that will definitely encourage other international companies to come to the region. So I think it's a very positive sign, okay, which might have repercussions beyond the energy market, okay, and might actually encourage other companies to invest in other areas, probably also from Abu Dhabi. It's also a sign from the Abu Dhabi government that it's giving a green light to actually investment for other big funds that exist over there, maybe to invest in areas like medical devices.
Are these discussions with the Manufacturers Association that you've been having?
Definitely. I already have been twice to Dubai and once to Abu Dhabi, and we are maintaining close contact. But again, we're not rushing, because I think that we should actually analyze both sides. I mean, it should have a win-win situation. Usually, Israelis, as you know, are very enthusiastic.
That's a very un-Israeli approach.
I know. But we are trying to actually hold our horses to do things in a proper manner, not just to rush, but to analyze what are the win-win for the side. And definitely those discussions about combining or complementarity between us and the Gulf economy, this is something which is on the table, and it's beneficial for everybody.
It certainly has been so far, and it's gone a lot faster than even I think a lot of people anticipated. Dan Katerivis of the Manufacturers Association of Israel, thank you for joining us.